to Living, Overcoming, Becoming, the next best podcast to come out of Pennsylvania. Woo, woo. Introducing my best friend, Nicole Gilchrease. All right, guys. This is our dry run. This is our first episode, so you're going to have to bear with us because we don't know what the heck we're doing. My best friend here pretty much seen me through the inception of this great big beautiful masterpiece of, I guess, a brain fart turned into masterful mind kind of organization. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been up and down with this for a long time.
But now the baby has been born.
We did this, but not just to speak about my baby. My bestie has a baby too, guys, and this is where we're going to tie in our episode. And our episode 1 is called Unlearning Religion-Discovering God, featuring my bestie's new book, Dear God, You Are Enough. Best friend, do you want to tell us about your book?
Sure. Okay, so this book wrecked me. Let me start with that. This book wrecked me. I don't know. It didn't even turn out how it started. So the book was originally like, when I got the title, like, Dear God, You Are Enough, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm about to love up all my Jesus. I'm about to let me count the ways, okay? Like, I'm thinking it's gonna be a book like that, like, let me show God how much I love him, and like, this is gonna be like poetry, And I started to write this book, and I started like praying about the book. And it was like, what do you want from me? What do you need from me? Ask and you shall receive. And that's what it started with. It started with like what type of relationship I wanted with him. And it just kind of flourished from there.
So, harken off of that, did you always feel that way about God?
Absolutely not. God was unreachable for me. I spent most of my life like with a woman. Let me put it that way. I said with multiple women, and then men on the side. I was just on the fence, anywhere the wind blows. So for me, God was unreachable because I was an abomination, and I was unredeemable. I couldn't come back from that unless God had His hand on me and He pulled me out, which I prayed for years. So when nothing changed for over 15, 16 years, I'm just like, like, I love him, but we ain't cool like that, So I'm not gonna disrespect him because he's God, but I'm also not gonna be all up in his face, So
Almost kind of like unworthiness. That's what it
yeah,
sounds like. Like, I know you there, but I really don't feel like
like
I'm for you or you're for me. It's just like you're just there.
yeah,
Because I kind of feel like that's where it tied in for me too. Like, I didn't like grow up in the church, but I knew God. I knew He was there. Like, I guess I respected Him, like, in a way, like, I'm not going to ever say that there's another God other than you. Like, I know you're the God,
yeah,
but it kind of just felt like it was a lot of rules to love Him or even, I guess, accept Him. And it was always like, you had to be perfect. You can't be out here doing nothing crazy. And if you are out here doing something crazy, it's like when you go to church where you think they're supposed to like help you or like accept you, it was like you would walk in and everybody's like whispering about the stuff that they know that you're doing out in the street.
like, what they
Or I
doing
kind
here?
of seen how the churches would talk about like my family and like
Mhm.
situations. And I was just like, if that's the kind of people that God loves or accepts, I don't even want nothing, like, I don't want no part of it.
Like so for me, I grew up in church. It wasn't even like loving God because we weren't taught to love Him. We were taught to fear Him, but not like only reverence. We were taught to be afraid of Him.
Yeah.
So this book was a transition from being afraid of him and being afraid of him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a reverence. It was like, I'm going to love you because you first loved me. And I'm not going to fear you in the sense of being afraid of you, because if I do, that makes you unreachable. And you are a God that ripped the veil for me,
Right.
like you reconciled me to you. So how could you be so far? What?
What? Because it reminds me of the conversation I had with you. So a little backstory between me and Nicole. We met each other probably at the weirdest time in our journey with God. And she'll tell you she didn't even like me when she first met me.
Mm-mm.
Like she just thought that I was just this
Suck up.
figment
Yes.
of her light skin
Oh.
imagination. And then all of a sudden we had like it was almost like a breaking moment in church together.
The Lord just put us together.
And I had to scream for this woman and break whatever it was
Yeah.
that she had going on. And after I broke whatever I broke, we don't even know how we became friends.
Mm-mm.
We just started talking to each other, and then she never left me alone. It's like, nah, it was mutual because I was a stalker, low key. I was. But she is like my true sister in Christ. So anytime I have like anything that I need, like a sounding board or accountability, or like even just somebody to like
Big on
shoot the
accountability.
breeze, like shoot the breeze, like I call her. And it was different for me because I have friends, but I never really had like a friend in God.
I've never had like a friend like that.
Like it's we're both learning each other. It's almost like a
We still be like side eyeing, like,
are you really?
You know.
But going back to the conversation, like I had a conversation with her about that, and it was like I felt like God was so far away, like unreachable, untouchable. So like the further out in the world that I went, the more that I did, the more I experienced, the more that things happened to me. He got further and further away without that recollection, like how it says, like he's always with you no matter what you do, where you go, how you live your life. Like he's always there. So it was always that too, like not just like the fear part. Like I used to be afraid of that. Like, I like even though now it's like reverence. Like I still like I ain't gonna play with you, Big G. Like
right.
I know you about that life, so I'm not gonna dare be disrespectful. But at the same time, I think even with reading your book, it kind of made me realize like before it was like a forced relationship. So then when I ran away and I did my thing, when I came back to God, it kind of was just like I don't know, like I honestly have like recollections of him calling me like my name. And it's weird because I was working in Myrtle Beach Red Lobster at the time. Like I wasn't even like thinking anything of it, but I kept hearing somebody call my name, and I'm turning around like asking a million people. I'm like, I'm a server. Of course somebody's calling my name, but I'm calling like turning around like, who's calling me? Like, did you call me? Like, do you need me? Like, what's up? And everybody's like, what you talking about? I ain't hear your name being called. And it happened for weeks. Weeks. To the point where I call my mom and I'm like, sis, I think I'm going crazy. I was like, or something is watching me, because I was like, I keep hearing my name being called. And my mom was the first person to be like, well, did you pray and ask God if it was him? I was like, that didn't even occur to me. Like, I wasn't even like thinking that, like, but I did. And then not long after that, like, I ended up moving back to PA, because after that, it was like my life got wrecked. Like, I was living in my car and I lost my apartment. And then I tried to move to Charlotte with my homegirl, and I was there for a little bit. And even there, my life was getting wrecked. Like, that's a story for a different episode. But it was just like, after I heard my name being called and I finally like answered, it was like my life got shook up so much to the point where I ended up back here in PA, ended up going to the church that we go to now, ended up meeting you. And now it's like all of these things fell into place. So it's like, after I kind of, I guess, let go that I don't even care about the church part. Like, God, if you want me, what's up? Like, if that's you, I need you to make it known. Like, help me get to know you, and then maybe you'll lead me to the right place.
Right.
But I kind of felt like that's where I needed to start. Like, I had to say, like, all right, I know the church did me dirty. I seen the church do other people dirty.
Yeah.
So maybe I just need to like X that part out and just go to the source. Like, what am I even going to church for? So God, if you want me, I need you to see me, and I need you to be there with me and kind of walk me through this, because I don't really know you like that. I just know what I read. And then maybe you can help me get to where I need to go.
It's so funny you say that because so many people meet him that way, in a struggle, in a bind,
Or at the
like,
lowest of the lows.
like at their lowest, and God's just there, like he's the only one there. And we get to know him on that tip where he's like the savior.
Yeah.
But we never really like dive in. He's so many other things. Like he's a creator, he's a
Mhm.
master, like he's a father,
He's
he's a
my
healer,
friend.
like he's a God that speaks back. Like people don't think about he's a living God. Like
Mhm.
so he's the only living God. So like to like meet him in a place of lack,
Mhm.
and I really think that's what like made me dig into my relationship with God because when there is no lack, what is my relationship with you look like? When all the bills are paid and I got excess and there's food on the table and there's gas and we're going on vacations and where do you fit in my life then?
That's true.
Like are you only relevant and prevalent when there's a need? What happens when you finish supplying all the needs? How do how can I sit with you? How can I talk to you then? What is my language like? What is my heart like? What is my posture like then towards you? Is it like, okay, well, I don't need anything, so I'm not going to say anything to you?
Right.
I may acknowledge you like, oh, thank you for waking me up this morning. But
And you
am
just
I,
go on about your day.
like, am I living like a worship life? Not just like, I'm not, like, because people say I'm living for God,
Mhm.
but is your life worship? Like, are you doing everything to the glory of the Lord? Like, are you working when you go to work? Is it for His glory? When you're talking to your husband, when you're talking to your kids, when you're talking to your mate that you think you want to be your wife or your husband,
Mhm.
when you're interacting with people on the street, when you're cooking, like when you're doing the laundry, is it to the glory of the Lord? Like,
Mhm.
why are you doing these things? Because that's where relationships set in. It's not just how I talk to you,
It's how you incorporate him.
it's how you incorporate him in everything you do.
Mhm.
Because how could this be worship? Because cleanliness is next to godliness.
Right.
Like he needs to reside, he wants to abide with us,
Mhm.
but he can't do it where there are other things. You know, they're not going to coexist.
Right.
So my space needs to be clean so that first of all, he can abide with me. So that's why I'm doing laundry. That's why I keep my house clean.
Mhm.
That's why I teach my kids the importance of being clean and washing your body because when you don't wash your body, things can sit on the filth. So how can he abide? Like when you think about all that goes into, following God, because it makes me think of like in Exodus when they were in the camp. And one of the guys, I think he like peed or pooped or something. And the angel came and he was like, yo, your boy is nasty. Make
Yeah.
him cover that up with the dirt. Because the spirit of God was trying to move through the camp, but he couldn't because it was unclean.
Mhm.
So it made me think about what I do in my life, just normal stuff that keeps God's presence from being able to move freely. And that's relationship, you know?
And then that brings in, like, the whole aspect of clean too. Like, the reason why I stayed away from God so long is because I was dirty.
Right.
Like, I was living in filth. I was doing filth. I was
No,
amongst the filth.
you was
Like,
a
I
nasty.
was just out here
You was
just
nasty.
doing stuff. Like,
We was nasty.
I was, and you can attest to that, and it was just like, and I felt like that. I was like, "Oh, well, let me get this stuff out my system. Let
Right.
me go out here and let me do it. Let me live it. Let me experience it. I'm not going to disrespect you by being in church and then still doing all this crazy stuff. So let me just go." But then I ended up going so far away.
Mhm.
I ended up losing it, and I was like, now I done went out in this water too far. So now it's just a lost cause. Like I'm gonna chalk myself up to like I'm not worthy of your love. Like I know you ain't checking for me, you ain't looking for me. Like so I'ma just go ahead and do what I need to do. So at that point, I was actually filling in the hole of God with other stuff. That's how I got into like substance abuse. That's how I became addicted to certain things and started doing certain things, trying to find like that space filler to the point where I got so depressed I tried to kill myself.
But that's sad. That's the sad thing about religion. You have so many religious people fighting depression.
Literally.
Like, why is that a thing in the Christian community? Why is that a thing amongst religion that so many people are connected to a source that gives everlasting life, but you're fighting death on a daily basis. So how could religion, you know, really engulf the essence of who God is?
Mhm.
If God is life and that eternally, if God is love and that eternally, like, and people are fighting and they feel unloved in this place. They feel like, I just don't want to wake up today. I just don't want to do this today. I just don't want to get out of bed today. I
Mhm.
just can't face today. I have anxiety. I have this pain. I have this. I have that. How is God in that? How do you see God in that?
You
And it's
don't.
and people don't. Not at the beginning.
Mhm.
Because we know later on when you get into God, we know that the suffering, you know,
Yeah.
is a pillar. It's an honor to suffer for him, but not unnecessarily. Like, I think a lot of stuff is unnecessary, especially when it's his people to blame. It's us. It's us. We turn people away from God. We dive people into depression because
Mhm.
when they come to the hospital, when they come seeking God, we put all of these, stipulations and stuff on them. And not saying that you don't tell them the truth,
Yeah.
because the wages of sin is death. If
Yeah.
you sin, it leads to death. But you give them no hope. Like, you can say that God loves,
Mhm.
but if you sin, the wages of sin is death. You
Right.
can do both. You don't just have to say, oh, you're going to hell because you do this and you do that, you do this. Sin is sin.
Right. There's
Sin
a way to
is sin
be
is sin.
empathetic but still be truthful.
Right. Because people need to understand that the severity of what sin is, but they also need to know that they're redeemable, that
Yeah.
Jesus died on the cross and took all of those sins. And the only way is to accept him and the truth that comes with him. But people aren't giving it like that.
No.
They're giving it like, okay, like, some people are redeemable. If you look
Some
clean,
sins are redeemable. Not all sins are
yeah,
redeemable though.
like, some sins are redeemable, which is true. But, like, I mean, like, you're making people who are prostitutes act like they can't close their legs. You acting
People that are drug addicts can't
can't
become sober.
right. Like, there's no sobriety doesn't exist.
Sobriety doesn't exist.
Like, and that's harmful and that's hurtful, because how do you draw people in a place where they're low and you're looking down on them?
Exactly.
The only reason that you should be looking down is, like, to pull them up, because it says when you are converted, strengthen your brother. But how can you strengthen them if you're the reason why they don't want to go on another day? Because when they came searching for God, they met you instead of him.
And my thing is with that too, not only is it you're supposed to pull them out, but I feel like with the the church religion, like the religion aspect, people forget where they came from.
Yeah, they forgot
Like
what
they
God meant to
forget
them.
that they might have been struggling with the same thing that they talking down on you for, but just because they sometimes I don't even think that they've been delivered from it or healed. They just have like this front. So it's just like they feel like, "Oh, because I'm in a better situation, I can look at you like you're less than," instead of saying, "Hey, I dealt with this and this is how I got to this step." Instead of the step that you're on. Like, this is
Mhm.
how I got through this part.
Right.
I'm still working on it.
And it's not everybody,
It's not everybody, but
but
it's most of the
it's a lot
churches.
of people. It's a
It's
lot.
the sanctuary shuffle was a thing for me. Like, I
But
had
you
to
know
dedicate.
what? Religion is necessary. It's
It's
not the
structure.
it's right, it's the structure. It helps you build the discipline.
Yeah.
It gives you your base.
And your community.
But right,
There's nothing
but
wrong
it's
with the
not the end
church
all,
as
because
itself. Yeah.
there's a scripture in Philippians. Paul was writing to the Philippians about he believes that God is going to do the work until the end comes in
Mhm.
you, right? So in my mind, this is an ever-changing thing.
Yes.
So religion stops at what we are supposed to do as far as our daily lives.
Mhm.
What happens when we have an assignment that defies what we are able to do?
Right.
How does religion fit into that? Other than trusting God with all your heart and leaning not into your own understanding.
Mhm.
It's a guide on how to continuously be able to grow
Right.
in a natural body spiritually when the body doesn't want you to. So it's just like, and people forget that we're fighting a spiritual body a spiritual battle in a natural body.
Mhm.
And everything here is going to fight against everything here. So knowing that, knowing like the trials and tribulations that you face when someone comes to you, how could you turn your nose up? Or how could you stuff religion down their throat so much in a way that it leaves a bad taste in their mouth?
Mhm.
To it say, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." How?
Right.
Like how when the taste is pungent and is and not because sin prevails,
Mhm.
but because the way it was fed to me. Because everybody got a different palate. You can't feed everybody the same way.
Funny thing that you mentioned that. So, I went searching in this book last
Is
night.
that highlighting in the book?
I went searching in this book last night, right? And I was like, I knew that I was doing this episode. I knew I was doing it with my best friend, and I knew my best friend wrote a book. And I was like, her book, I'd write into this.
Right.
So the way that I wanted these episodes to pan out, right? So I had a whole different lineup. I
Mhm.
had a whole different idea. And last night something just hit me in my head for this episode to come first. Why? Because I felt like I had to explain what it actually means to be in a relationship with God
Mhm.
and allow God to do the work through a journey and not just thinking that you have to check off check boxes before you come back.
'Cause
Because I think that's where a lot of people get misconstrued. And I think once I kind of had that reality check rock thrown at my head, I won't say it was easy because it still wasn't easy because I still had to make a choice. But at the same time, it was just like opening myself up to the possibility of what could be in a relationship.
Mhm.
It then allowed me to realize that, hey, I don't have to become completely clean before I come back.
Mm.
I can allow him to do the cleaning in the process.
Right.
But then as that process goes, you'll start bringing me people or bringing me community, bringing me a sanctuary, bringing
Yeah.
me the church. Like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't so much like I had to do it all by myself.
Yeah.
It was like I was opening myself up enough to try to understand, to be led in the right direction.
Yeah.
But going off of what you said,
Mhm.
this is on page 27 in The Promised Land is Occupied out of your book. And this is what I highlighted. It says, growing up in Christ, the blueprint I was given for following God felt like a rigid, repetitive performance of awkward obedience. I was told God wanted a relationship with me, but deep down, I felt that such a relationship was out of reach, an impossible dream. After enduring the abuse of those who bore the name of caretakers, but lacked the qualities they claimed, I learned to keep my distance from the relationships I read about in the Bible. I thought only the holiest of the holy could hear from God, could interact with Him in a way that their very being intertwined with His Spirit. I believed that sin had severed the connection, that because I was sinful, God couldn't want me. I thought my journey toward the promised land had to be a path of endless wandering through the desert, a journey of exile. But somewhere in that excuse me, but somewhere in that wilderness, amidst the dust and the isolation, I learned something life altering. He wanted me, that he loved me, and no matter how far I ran, there was nothing I could do to stop.
Mhm.
This was me. And I was flipping. I was flipping and I just opened it up and boom, there it was. And I read it and I was like, okay, I see what you did there. And then it's funny that you just like you kind of just eased into this. And that's
Yeah.
why I really was like, I don't really need no script for this. I kind of just I put something together to kind of calm the nerves because we both nervous. Look,
Yeah.
but it's flowing in a way where I really feel like this is an important conversation. This podcast is being built on the foundation that whatever you think is there, or even what's not there, like whatever your like basic know-how or understanding is, this is basically to shake that up a little bit because by no means are either of us better than anybody.
Not at all.
Like, even
At
how you
all.
hear us talking now, we're still, like, literally
We
on this
fighting a
journey.
good
We
fight of faith.
fighting for our life
We're fighting a good fight
every
of faith.
day. Like,
Just
it's just like, I think what makes this part of my journey beautiful is that I literally have somebody to go through it with that not only gets me, but it's almost like she's in my brain. Like, and the crazy thing is, like, our testimonies, they kind of line up in like an awkward, weird
they
way that
collide.
it's like,
They collide with each other very much.
it's like, okay, so I guess I see why we're here together with each other forever because she can't go anywhere.
It's so weird that you read that part because that was like the staple of this book.
Mhm,
Because like I said, it started out about me showing God how much I loved him.
mhm,
Like I wanted to write that like, oh, I don't even remember like how it started. I remember how it started with the acts. But when I came out of the acts, like by the time I finished writing that first chapter,
mhm.
it was a completely different book because I was devastated.
And don't negate the fact that she was on a 40-day fast while you were writing the book.
Yes. I was devastated. I was just like, my God. I was like, I'm one of them people that be like, oh, I want this in a relationship, but don't offer none of that stuff. Like I thought about who I was and what I needed in a relationship, especially because I'm coming out of a marriage,
Mhm,
and I married with the thought of what I thought I wanted and needed,
mhm.
and then realizing that, first of all, they're not the only one to blame because I wasn't in a place where I should have just jumped.
Right.
So, like, looking then and going into writing this book, it not only said, God, you're enough, it also said, you're enough, because learning self love was the first part of learning how to love God.
Hmm.
Because I couldn't love God if I couldn't see the goodness in the creation that was me. So learning how to love him, he had to literally put a mirror in front of me and say, you're beautiful. And
Mhm.
this is why. And I look back at him and said, you're beautiful. And this is why,
Yeah.
But the book, and that's what I thought the book was going to be about. But
Right.
it didn't turn into that. It turned into, if you love me, prove it. And this is how you prove it. It's not because you're going to follow all of my commandments. Yeah, I told you, if you love me, keep my commandments. But that's
Mhm.
not just it. How do you treat other people? And, like,
I love that,
how do you
I
submit?
love that answer where, "But I'm a good person."
Yeah.
It's like,
Like, okay.
"Okay,
All right.
alright, what else?" Like,
But did you die?
but
Did you die to self?
exactly, like, you're a
Like,
good person, but, like, what exactly are you sending in people? Like, are you just saying, "Hey," are you giving people hugs? Like, you're talking nice? Because at the end of the day, I really feel like, in this
you got some nice witches.
it
Okay.
and again, that's a whole nother episode I got coming later, and it's just like, I had to it wasn't just, like, unlearning, like, the weaponization of religion, let me just say it that way,
That's what it is.
because anything can be manipulated, good or bad. I feel like a lot of people strayed away from God, don't even try God, don't even look at him, is because the way that people use it,
Mhm.
the way that groups use it looks crazy, and I'm not even gonna lie, because I was the king of, like, when I had my little doubt phase, it was just like, there's so much bad in this world, like, how could God just let this happen? And then I was like, when I came to the other side and I actually dove in and I
When
was
I
like,
carried to the other side is crazy.
we're all just living the consequences of our free will actions.
Mhm.
Like, you can't sit here and say, "Oh, why would I love a God, or why would I believe in a God that
Mm.
doesn't give me freedom. I can't do anything." But then when you have your free will, we're all out here making decisions, and these people are becoming who they are and what they're doing outside.
We wanna blame him
We
for the
wanna blame
decision.
him for everything, and I'm just like, "Well, what you
Like,
like,
you
all
can't
right,
have
we
it
got
both
these
ways.
actions. You can't sit here and say that I wanna do what I wanna do when I wanna do it, include choose him or not."
Mhm.
and then sit here and look at the rest of the world, but why ain't he fixing that? Now, I had to come to that realization.
Mm-hmm.
The same way I had to come to realization that the weaponization of religion is another thing, but also that the church is full of people. These is people in here.
Right.
These is people that fall short of the glory every day.
Every day,
These
because
are
here I
people
am.
that have issues. These are people that are dealing with things. These are people that have their ups and their downs. And I also feel like that's another reason why God seems like something people don't want to choose to, because they sit here and they look at all of these fleeting famous pastors, or like the ones that actually do put the money from collection in their pocket, and they see some of these churches not realizing that these are still people doing people things.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot put all of your faith in people. It has to be in God.
That's
It's separate.
that's the part.
It's separate.
That's
Like,
the
you
part.
cannot get mad at man falling and blame it on the creator, because again, free will, people. He gave you the ability to make a choice.
And that was the biggest part for me, because although, like some parts of religion like rubbed me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It rubbed me wrong. But when I went back in and I studied for myself, I said, God, I want to get to know you the way
Bingo.
you want me to get to know you. I don't want it to be on how somebody else describes you, because I can eat the same plate of food that you eat, but baby, I'm a poet, so we gonna describe that thing real different, okay?
Describe
So,
down.
like that's what I think of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we experienced him in different ways. We both experienced him, but we experienced him at different points in our life. My situation was different because I had a kid. While we were doing the same thing, I had a kid tagging along, so it was like, now that I came back to him, I have to think about the damage that I did to my kid, while I was outside, and then when I came back to him, it was like, okay, I seen you outside. So how do I unlearn all of that stuff in him and show him that God is the way, the truth, and the light, while trying to believe that in myself after being hurt so bad by the people that carry his name?
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, I know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to reflect him, because the greatest way that I can teach him who God is to follow God by God's standards. So if you created me to be a reflection of you, you know, then that's the only way that that people are going to see God, because God is a spirit. So how else would they see his image other than through the people that is standing in front of him? So now that I know that, okay, I have to reflect God in this way and I have to live my life for him. How can I live my life for somebody I don't know? I only know through somebody else's explanation. That makes no sense. So I have to get to know you in order to reflect you, in order to reflect your character, because I only know you through what people tell me to read in here. The same, John 3:16, this one, that one, those staple scriptures,
Right.
But when I go in and I look and I'm like, you made somebody marry a whore, you did this, you did that, and I'm just sitting here like, God,
Listen,
what is
if people just
happening?
understood, like, if people just understood to just read it,
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, so we're back on.
we're back,
I believe so.
and we're back.
And this is the devil, ain't nothing but Satan. Because I don't know what just happened to the Wi-Fi. That was crazy. But I don't even remember where we were talking. Like, what was we even talking about? Forgot. I done got so frustrated. I can't let it get to me though.
I don't know what your point was, because you was about to make a point. Because
What's about to make a point?
we were coming out of getting to know God for yourself and not off of somebody else's. Because it's fine to take that, to have like a starting point, to say, okay, it has a strawberry flavor, but it might have a little hint of nutmeg, like
I feel
like,
like it's coming back to me.
I hope so.
I feel like, oh
Look
my
at that.
goodness.
Look at
Oh my
that.
goodness.
Look at that.
See, we
Look.
just two people just going through life trying to figure it all out. in the midst of trials and tribulations.
I'm hungry.
Because
That's where I'm at.
if this wasn't like the true testament of like, just when you think you got it all together, boom, here's a monkey wrench and you got to figure it out afterward. But at least I know God, because I would have done flipped this table over.
Because no,
I
seriously.
still flip the table over and then I'll pray afterwards. But I'm just like, I had such a good point to make. And I hope when y'all play this back and then you see that we put this in here, you be like, oh, I see where she was going. But honestly, this whole reasoning behind this podcast, I really just want people to understand that there are really people out here living their life trying to overcome something. It's always overcoming something. I don't know if it's always adversity. I don't know if it's always something bad, because I feel like I've had a lot of good things I've tried to overcome in life as well. But then I'm just really trying to become a new person. Like, I'm trying to become a better person. Like, and I feel like that's where the idea came from.
Yeah.
I tried to do it through YouTube series a while ago. I tried to do it writing a book. That book didn't work out. It was too written in plain for me, where I was just like, since we done did a lot, we're not going to put this out there on the shelf like that. So I figured, why not just talk about it after a mutual person that we know bugged me about it for a while.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, whatever. I'm going to just go ahead and throw it out there. But even now, I think it was meant to happen at this time, only because now I have like a lot of different resources and people that are open to accompany me through it, including you.
Your understanding is different too. Because when we first started talking, baby, you was like, I don't know this and I don't know that and I don't know how I'm gonna do this. It say this and I don't know how I'm gonna do that. And lately I've been hearing your language change. It's just like, well, if that's what I gotta do for God, then that's what I'm gonna do. And I just be like, Lord, you over here answering my prayers in real time, okay, for my friend. Because I was praying, like, when God sends somebody for you, like you praying for that person. Because if they fall apart and they leave and they go and you by yourself again, okay? I've been by myself for a long time and I finally got somebody. So I'm praying because it's really not all about me being by myself. It's finally like you sent me someone, you know? So I'm not gonna take that lightly because I'm gonna cherish it. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna love them how you love them because that's how I want you to understand that I appreciate this. You ain't leaving me out here in these trenches by myself. Because there are some people that walk alone, and I ain't got to walk alone. Okay, baby. Okay, I'm praying for you. Even when you don't want me to. When you mad and you all red in the face and you like, because we both crash out artists, reformed crash out artists. Let me correct that. Okay, but we crash out for the Lord now. But But sometimes that old man riles up and we be having to pull each other back off the edge.
And the more I get deeper into this, the more I feel like that thing be riling up a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there. Like, it's a monkey on my back. And I'm just like, bruh, I'm really just, I be crying to the point where I get frustrated, where I'm like, y'all don't know how much God is saving y'all life right now.
But it's like, oh, I changed because I would have did this.
Because y'all wouldn't have even seen me coming. It just would have been a pile of destruction. Like, it's just.
You know what that come from too? That comes from me saying, I don't want to misrepresent God.
Yeah.
Because somebody's watching me go through this.
Yeah.
Somebody hear me talking about God all the time because, I'm going to talk about God. And then the slightest inconvenience come and I'm going off. I'm about to break you over this table. You feel me? Because you're not about to play in my. So, and then it's just like, okay, now I have to reconstruct and rebuild God's image on me because of one situation that I could have said, it ain't even that serious.
Yeah.
Like, okay, devil, I see you.
And then I'm not even going to lie. Sometimes I do still like, I be tripping and falling sometimes. But it's like the way I be feeling afterward, I'm like, "God, I'm
So
so
yes,
sorry." Like, I
yes.
really did it just be like a snap. And I'm just like, the second I come back, now I will say the snaps don't last as long no more.
No,
Like, it's almost like I'm in it and then I come out and I'm like, but I feel like instant regret, and I'm
right.
just like, "God, I'm really, really, really sorry." Like, I did like, I be in my bed crying, like, "I tried, like, I really did, like, don't be mad at me." Like, but then I was like, "I really just be imposing my relationship on."
But you know what? That's so good because I was just telling you, like, you gotta give yourself grace because the things that we can't help, the things that we can help, we should.
Yeah.
But also, that also allows us to see our growth. That
Mhm.
shows, other people like this not a perfect walk. You you're not gonna be perfect. We all make mistakes. And not to, use that as an excuse to cover up the crash out. But sometimes what God allows is what people need to see.
Yeah.
So we'll be beating ourselves up. Oh, God don't want me. I'm just full of shame and all of that. And then, once we come out of it, like there's nothing that can separate me from you. So,
Yeah.
like because you already died on the cross for every sin that I'm gonna commit. So the ones that I'm not out here just sinning like knowingly, like oh God gonna forgive me. Nah, we're not doing that. But when we fall, like genuinely fall, we're working our hardest. We fall to temptation, or like we give up on ourselves a little bit and we fall.
Mhm.
It's just like, okay, I don't have to sit in that because you already died for it. You already invested in me on this part. So, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna say, forgive me. I'm gonna forgive whoever it was. I'm gonna ask for forgiveness for them, and we're gonna move on with this thing because this is a learning experience.
Right.
Nobody knows everything about God. Nobody knows his plans, none of that, because his plans is not our plans. His ways is not our ways. So the best that we can do is talk to him and try and figure it out and let him show us because we're gonna follow them. We're gonna follow each and every one. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not kill, thou. He is the Lord their
And
God that delivers us out of,
and when you look at the
like
commandments, it's like, it's not even that hard to follow. It's just
it's
basic
not.
rules of, like, being a good person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just literally, like, I always thought, like, the Ten Commandments, like, listening to it, I was like, "Jesus, that
I'm
sounds
like, that's
crazy. That
crazy.
sounds like."
That's
But
too
then when I was,
much.
like, actually breaking them down, like, "You're right, I shouldn't steal. You're right, I shouldn't kill people. You're right, I should not want what other people have."
Right.
Like, you're so
I should
right.
be
Like,
okay
it
with the
makes
stuff I
so
got.
much sense.
But then it's just like, what about all of the sins that are sins that's not in the Ten Commandments? Because I like people look at the Ten Commandments and they say, oh, if you do these things, you're sinning. What about those things that you're convicted of that you continue to do?
Mm.
Those are sins. Like you see me convicted. I had to heavy up and switch up.
Alright, now for
But
the ones that don't know what convicted is, tell them.
it's just okay, to put it in layman terms, you know how you be doing something and you just like, I shouldn't be doing that. Or
I
maybe
really
I
should
should
refrain.
yeah, like
Should dial it back.
you feel I'm trying to put it in layman terms so it's not like, just so
That gut feeling
snooty.
that
It's
you should
that
not be doing, performing, or
right.
acting
Like
in the manner that you
something
are
that you
doing.
or something that you are about to do or something that you've been doing. And inside you feel like, I don't want to do this anymore or I
Mhm.
shouldn't do this anymore. That's a conviction.
Mhm.
And that's God's way of saying, you've outgrown this thing. Let's move to the next level.
Yeah.
And you not switching up is rebellion because now you're not submitting,
Mhm.
and that's a big part of relationship with God.
Yeah.
That's a big part of switching from religion to relationship because they'll teach you to submit to man, but not to God.
Mm.
They'll teach you to fall into the idea of what I want you to be and not follow this path that God is taking you on because where he's taking me has outgrew where you can take me. So you're going to force me into this box that you can bear when God is trying to take me higher. So religion does that. It puts you on a plateau where in God there is no plateau because it's a continuously growing thing. So religion can't take you places that relationship can.
Right.
because you're gonna outgrow each person. You know how many churches I've been through? And not because I was church hopping. It's just that I had
Outgrew it.
outgrew that pastor because
Mhm.
he gives us a pastor of his choice.
Mhm.
I had outgrew that pastor because where this pastor, he was really good at teaching me how to use my gift
Mhm.
of singing. I got 50 other gifts that need to be honed, that need to be nurtured. And he didn't know how to use the other one. So what am I supposed to just stay up under him singing
Mhm.
and bury my other gifts? But that's how they use religion to say you have to be faithful to this pastor. You got to stay. And when it's time for you to move on, they make you feel bad.
Yeah.
Because
That weaponization again.
like you're not faithful to your pastor. I'm not supposed to be
You
faithful
can't
to
be
my
loyal to your pastor,
pastor.
you can't be loyal to God.
Loyal,
The
like
lies you tell.
because at what point do I say, I'm living for God and not for the people that showed me him? you
Mm.
know, because we'll get stuck up on the people that showed us who he is, introduced us, and we'll stay in their realm, we'll stay in their face, we'll do everything according to how they think it should be done. And then God gives you revelation and you don't even follow revelation because this is how you grew up. I didn't grow up Sabbath. I grew up apostolic wearing skirts and all of that. We
Yeah.
covered our hair and all of that, but for these days,
I will say, like, again, that's something that's coming up later
yeah,
in the
like
season, but, like, switching over to, like, our whole Hebrew
mhm.
Israelite kind of lifestyle, living feast days,
Yeah.
giving up things that I was doing forever. That was another thing where I was like, "Alright, God, sir, like, I'm doing this for you, but Imma need you to guide me through it because I have a baby, and my baby is still like, 'Oh, mommy, I wanna go trick or treat, and no, I wanna go out.
Uh-huh.
I want a Christmas tree, blah, blah,' and I'm just like, how do I explain this to a 5-year-old where it's literally like, this is all her life, like, this is all she knows, and I'm, like, trying to switch and so imagine what I feel like. I was doing this for almost 30 years of my life, so
Mhm.
now I'm just like but it's I see the importance of it. It's not that I don't get it,
Yeah.
but it's like this whole walk thing, this whole relationship thing, it like now I done been through some worse relationships. I done been through some stuff, so this is obviously
I've
night
been
and
through
day
some
for me. I done been through some but it I think that's where it's like I really had to build my relationship because I had to create trust. Like 'cause I was like, "I have to trust that this is good for me. I have to trust this is good for my family. I have to trust this is good for my spirit, my mind, my health."
Mhm.
Like, I gotta trust the fact that you created these things, these ways to make me a better person. And, without that whole trust aspect, it was kinda just like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing most of the time. This didn't seem right. It didn't feel right. It was just all
It let me and that's so crazy because he develops a relationship with us way before we
Mhm.
even begin to think about having a relationship with him.
Mhm.
To the fact to the point where he'll start to change our taste buds to match where we're going. Which is so crazy
Mhm.
because I wasn't a pork eater way before I came on this side.
Mhm.
Like I just my body wouldn't digest it. I would get sick when I ate. I stopped celebrating Christmas way before I came on this side.
Mhm.
And it was just like, well, how do I not celebrate break Christ? These are the holidays y'all gave us,
Bruh.
to celebrate Christ. And I'm like, I'm saying I love Jesus, but don't want to celebrate his birthday. And then when I got into reading for myself,
Mhm.
because I'm a person I love knowledge, so Imma go read it for myself every time. So when I seen like the origins of it, because that's big for me, how did it start?
Yeah.
You know, when I read the origins of it, I said, this don't got nothing to do with
Do it,
not
guys.
my Lord.
And by no means, y'all, if y'all are still out here doing these things, this is not a shot. This is just
No.
our experience
This
when
is just
we
how he did with
read what we
us.
read and experienced what we experienced. Y'all, because listen, my mother is still not trying to give up Easter and Christmas, okay? And we in the like we in this lifestyle, like it's just she was doing it longer than me. It's just everybody moves at their own pace. So
Mhm.
this is not a dig at y'all. We
Yeah.
just letting y'all know what we going through and our experience. And
'Cause it was
Yeah, like, cause Easter was another one, and I was just like, cause I think the one time I actually questioned that whole thing was when Easter fell in March a few years ago, and I was like,
if
"Who?" I was like, "How?" I was like, "I ain't never, ever, ever, ever experienced Easter in March."
who authorized this?
Like like, I thought I went through the Mandela effect for
Uh-huh.
real, cause I was like, "Am I tripping?" Like, it was never this close to my birthday, like, what is happening? And then that's what really made me start going in and, like, reading about it, and I'm like, "Oh, no wonder it changed every year," cause I was like, I thought it was supposed to be like, Christmas is every day, every year, the same day.
Mhm.
Why Easter be moving? Why is the day Jesus died on the cross and rose from the dead, why does it keep changing? Like, what is this? It don't
Mhm.
make no sense. I get it would fall on a different day of the week, but not a different day itself. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy to me. And that's what I feel like we're getting to. I feel like we have to stop putting all of our trust in man
Mhm.
who can manipulate and change and leave things out. And I just feel like everybody should start at the aspect of let me just look at it for myself.
Mhm.
Just read the Bible. It's a book.
And say, "Lord, reveal it to me."
It's a book. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you just read it in your mind, it might even sound outlandish, but it ain't nothing worse than what you watching on TV.
You can even play it. They'll talk to you
Like,
now.
you can it's so many different ways.
Depending on the
I just
version,
feel
the
like
voice
that
changes.
same open mind everybody swears they have, just have it when you, like, read a couple pages.
Mhm.
I might be reading cover to cover. I know you're reading cover to cover too, just to kind of put everything in
Mhm.
context. But I even just opening it up and getting stuck on a piece, and then you gotta go back and reread the rest of the pieces. I feel like that's how I got stuck in the beginning. Because I have read something crazy about somebody's ear getting cut off or something, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Wait, what happened before this?" I was like, "What hap" No. When David was watching that woman bathe on
Which
top of the roof, because I was like, "What is happening here?" I was like, "Why are you staring at this woman?" And then you send her husband off the battle to get killed to get her. I was like, "Listen, this is a telenovela before I've ever seen a telenovela."
you know what made me wanna read the Bible cover to cover?
What?
I was like, "I wonder what you gotta do to make God wanna write about you."
See, that's the poet in you.
Like, that was my thought. I was like, "This is like his diary. This like the
That
people
is
like, this is every like, he done had his heart broken in here, like, God telling us how Israel broke his heart, and then the people that loved him, the people that he interacted with. You know, he said, "Moses, I talked to face, 'cause, like,
like we gang.
so I'm just like, what they did to make God write about them. I'm about to go see.
Right.
Because people like, this is our history book. I'm like, you telling me it's other people that they couldn't read about? You telling me it's other people he could have mentioned, but
Listen,
these is the people he
it's
mentioned.
the gangster of it all for me. Because if you opening up holes just to swallow up whole communities, tribes, like, just a whole existence of a being, like, I'm just like, "Oh, I can rock with that." I There's just certain ways that the Bible was never explained to me,
Mhm.
and I almost felt like it was either we were getting condemned in church or we were at, like, an encouragement seminar, and you basically heard, like, maybe one scripture, and then after that, it was just like, "Oh, everything's gonna be alright, you just gotta trust God," and I'm like, "But what are the steps to do that?
What's
What's
they
the in
going?
between?"
Yeah. Like, how
Like,
do I get from being at looking up and seeing rock bottom to being this victorious person that y'all telling me about?
because I know some beautiful people that are so unbothered because they're so, like, in God.
Mhm.
They just like, "Oh, this is happening, but it's gonna be alright," and I'm just like, "What I gotta do to be I wanna be there. I wanna be so Jesusly unbothered
That
that
shit make you think, baby.
like, what level black belt is that?" Like, 'cause I
Like,
promise
how many
I
boards I
done
gotta chop for that?
like, come on now, like, what like, that is like Jackie Chan, Jet Li level of, like, in God, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna snub myself, like, I feel like I've come a far way. Like, my trust in God has definitely grown. I
Mhm.
still have trust issues. I still have
Mhm.
control issues, but
Them
compared to
control
where
issues
they
are
were,
crazy.
I'm doing alright. And, But yeah, I just be seeing those types of people, and I'm like, because even like our leaders, shout out to Strong Power Outreach
For
Ministries
real.
in Wilmington, Delaware, also known as Deliverance Evangelistic Temple
Wait,
out of Norristown.
it's so funny you saying that. It's so funny you saying that because I just was talking to the Lord. I said, I am not Lady or Bishop because they be going through the most and
Yo,
still ministering. How are
and
they doing
they
that?
be dealing with people like us and
For
still
real.
be
And
living their
still
life, and I'm just like,
not listen. Okay.
and I do appreciate them because they do be telling us about ourselves. They be like,
I
listen,
love
y'all
it though.
stressing us out, but you know what? God gonna work on y'all, and I'm just
I
like,
love it though.
I'm like, but they definitely restored my hope. I told them this last week in Sabbath school. I was like, bro, like I don't think y'all know how much I appreciate y'all because y'all really made it seem tangible
Mm-hmm.
to be a woman in Christ, like a person in Christ, like because y'all look like me, y'all talk like me, y'all done came out of some stuff like me, like y'all deal with stuff every day, but they're so open to
Real stuff.
have a conversation. Like, yes, we are here, but we were there, and this is how we got out of it. And I think this is like how this whole birthing situation happened with this, because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, y'all made me feel proud about where I've been and how I got here, even though I'm still trying to be better.
Yes.
But like y'all kind of took the shame out of a lot of the things and made it, even with you, like last night with Bible study, like you were saying, how you had to use what you were going through to talk to somebody at your job that was going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And how Joy was saying, like, you have to use your testimony to turn the light on for other people. Like, I
Right.
never thought that until I came to this ministry.
You just thought you was going through it.
Like, bro, I was like, God, like, son, I did not sign up for this package for this long. Like, can you?
Mm.
Because it was like when I was out of God, I knew why it was happening to me. I was like, oh, I deserve this. I deserve everything I'm getting because I know what I'm doing. I ain't supposed to be doing it. But then when I came back and I'm still getting hit upside the head, I'm like, all right, bruh. Like, I thought this is what I was supposed to avoid. I thought I was avoiding this by saying yes, but they don't tell you after you say yes, the way that things come at you. I think it's just a different outlook now.
That's because that's the cloak that people put on. Like following God is this easy thing.
Mhm.
It's joyous, it's beautiful. But it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's not hard in the sense that, oh, I can't do it. It's hard in the sense that I have to continue to do it through everything.
Yeah.
You know?
It almost gives life meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, like, before it was like, oh, this stuff is just happening to me because, but now it's like when this stuff is happening to me, I'm like, well, what am I supposed to get out of
I'm
this?
like, oh, baby, I'm dangerous because they coming at me.
Or
Like,
that. It's just like even with this whole thing where the whole internet situation went down, I'm
mhm.
like, oh, this is what I know I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be
Listen,
doing. Because if
for
you coming
real.
at me through the internet signal that been working all day, I know this is something that's not supposed to be happening. So it's just like I think it shifts your perspective.
Yeah.
And I feel like once you learn the relationship aspect of it,
Mm.
that's where the necessary and the properly used religious aspect and structure comes to follow.
Because it keeps you on a narrow path.
Yeah.
The religious part of it. Because you have to remember too, when you get common with someone or something, you lose reverence for it.
Yeah.
We're human. So, it's like when we not working or
Mhm.
we don't have a car. We thanking God for the job. We thanking God when we get the job, right? And then the slightest inconvenience. See, this why I don't like none of y'all in here. I could find another job, like, or I need to get a new car. And I'm sitting here, and one day I caught myself saying that, and I was like, I remember when I didn't have a job, and I was in a job that I hated so much,
Mhm.
and I was just like, Lord, I just need a new job, and it's in the job I'm in now. And stuff started happening, and I'm like, I could go work somewhere else. And the Lord said, oh, no, you can't, because none of the applications I put in got approved. I'm like, oh, okay, so I just need to be thankful for where I'm at right now. Like, 'cause you're not letting me move. But it also like made me remember, like, I have to be thankful for where I am now, no matter
Mhm.
what's going on around me. And like sometimes we get comfortable with God. and we stop talking to him.
Yeah.
We stop reverencing him. We stop showing his love because, oh, I'm giving him my dollar. He just gonna go snort it. He gonna snort the coke right off the dollar I'm about to hand him. Like, so, it's just like, for me, before I put my money in your hand, this right here, this is an investment to the
Mhm.
kingdom. I'm not looking at what you gonna do with my dollar. You feel me? I'm gonna say, Lord, whoever gets this dollar today, because I have dollars I keep in my console, and you gonna tell me who to give these dollars to,
Mhm.
because I ain't just handing my money to anybody,
Yeah.
because that's an investment. For me, even if it's just giving the dollars to somebody on the street. Lord, tell me who to get the dollar to,
Mhm.
because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pray over this, and who I give this dollar to, you do a great thing in their life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm using everything I can as ministry. Even if it's just a smile, I walk in and somebody's standing there looking crazy. I'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Da, da, da. And they'll smile back, and because I got RBS, so I have to smile
Yes.
because I will be unapproachable, and I have to be conscious of that. Like, I have
I
RBS.
try to check mine so
Yes.
bad. I don't know what to do.
So
There must be a medicine.
can
There's
we
gotta
say
be.
RBS? I don't know,
Why not?
but because it's the word in there, but we're not saying the word, so I feel comfortable. But like, I'm just like,
At least I'm not saying the
I'm not saying
word.
the word. But that's what I'm saying. I have to be conscious of that. But I'm just
Mhm.
like, I want this relationship with God to not be about me and him, you know?
Yeah.
Because he didn't give me my gifts for me. He didn't give me my discernment for me. He didn't give me this gift to be able to see and hear, smell, all that. He didn't give me that for me.
Mhm.
He gave me that for the building up of his kingdom.
Right.
So my relationship with him should be for the same thing.
Mhm.
And although it's a personal thing and I'm making it personal, how can I take this relationship with God into the world and bring people in with it? You know? And that's what it was about. That's why the book was wrote. That's why the podcast is here.
Mhm.
Because now we're developing this relationship where we're submitting to him in the ways that he wants us to submit to him
Mhm.
so we can reach masses.
Right.
Because it's not about us.
Right.
It's never been about us.
Ever.
We had to focus on us for a little while
Yeah.
to get our crap together,
Right.
in order to be
Still
usable.
getting it together.
Because he gonna use us.
Cause I still be doing and going through, and I'm like, God, you sure you want to use me? Cause bro, I'm still out here like doggy
Mm-mm.
paddling in water.
I'm
Like I'm
past
just
it.
like
I'm just like, I ain't even listen, because
I might have my doubts that way, but I don't ever say no now. Like
no,
I kind of learned the hard way to stop
no.
being like
What's that word?
I had to stop
You
procrastinating.
can say no.
Like
You're
oh,
not
I
just
was
you just
like
not immediately activated in
in the
situations.
beginning, like when Bishop and Lady kept coming to me and it was like, oh, we think you should do this. Oh, we
You're
think you
like,
should do that. I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm about to just like, I'm just trying to show up. Like, I'm just trying to make sure I get here every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here, but nah. And then and my life started becoming torment. I started getting tormented. I couldn't sleep.
because
I
you
couldn't
know
do
what
nothing.
happened? You know what
And then I
happened?
felt bad.
You
And
be
then they
staying
kept
in a place for too
asking.
long. You be staying in a place for
Like I
too
was just trying
long.
to be quiet. Like I had just came from a life of anger, fighting,
Hmm.
being
Abuse.
abusive to like I had just came like because I think the crazy thing is people see how I was like growing up
Hmm.
and they don't realize that I had snapped in between the age of like 17 and 26. So it was just like a lot of stuff. That whole gap where I ran away and created a new life
Hmm. A
from
new
what
a
people knew
new
about me
person
here
and everything
in a new state with new people.
that ain't know me.
I reinvented myself and
Yes.
I was scary, baby, because I was like, I was out here and I was like, I didn't know you could do this. But it was because I had stayed so dormant and like quiet and like I just let people beat up on me, like relationships beat up on me to the point where I like literally snapped and I was like, I'm about to become the most dangerous person somebody ever met. And that's what I did. And then it's like now when I'm coming in here and I'm like, no, I want to be the opposite of the person that I created because obviously the person I created was not good for me because look at where I'm at.
But it was necessary.
It was, I know now.
It was necessary
I know
because you seen
now.
what you were capable of.
Bro, I'm scary.
So if I could be like that there, Imagine who I'm gonna be with the power of God behind me.
Cause listen, if it wasn't, if it like, if me not generating this persona is not helping me with the spirit, the situation with the spirit realm, cause I'm just like, I feel so angry now that where it's just like when certain things happen or like when I experience them, when I start feeling them little hairs on the back of my neck standing up, the way I be turning around like, yo, we can get it cracking. Like, what's up? Because now I'm irritated. Because now I can't sleep. Like, why am I waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning every night? Like, why do I feel like you breathing on the back of my neck? Like, if you foggy, then leave. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like it created like that boss up. But then it's like it's hard to shake because it was like I used it for survival for like a very prominent time in my life. So now I'm like, I don't want it to be used against me in the kingdom of God. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like I was saying no because I was like, no, I'm just trying to chill. I'm just trying to take away the things I don't need anymore.
I think it's wild to see people out in the world rowdy and then come to God and be scary.
I'm like the opposite.
That's so wild.
I feel like I be in church and I'm just like, yo, I'm just trying to sit here and be quiet because if I really show myself the way that I'm feeling on the inside, y'all gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, is there gonna be a sanctuary left? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's where I feel like my relationship came in because I'm like, God, I do not want to misrepresent you.
No. I think that's the biggest part because so many people, and it's so crazy because the time that we live in, it's just like the smallest thing. The cut off, what is it called? The cancel culture.
Oh yeah, the cancel culture is crazy.
Cancel culture is crazy.
They gonna cancel you for this episode.
No, seriously. Like, I stopped talking to people for the smallest thing. Like, you're not gonna interrupt my peace. Like, and I'm asking God to work on me. Like, somebody, like, I talked to somebody like yesterday, and they said today, like, I miss you, and I blocked them.
I know
because I can't deal with that type of tomfoolery.
You do that often.
I can't deal with that.
It's like a weekly thing.
I'm just like, I'm gonna show you the love of God from over here.
Like, because you can't sit here and come around messing me up like this.
Seriously, no, because I don't want you in my space, just with all of that. But seriously, I'm just like, the cancel culture is so real that the people of God just trying to be so careful to not turn people off.
Listen, man.
And I'm just like,
look what they did to Jesus.
I'm just like, you just gotta speak the truth.
My word gonna get out
there. And who get it, get it. I said, because
at the end of the day, everybody just wants something to be mad at. So
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, something's always gonna rub somebody the wrong way. At the end of the day, everybody's opinions are not the same. Everybody doesn't have the same feeling. And it's just like, that cancel culture is cute. I get that we are also surfacing a lot of traumas that we're not okay with.
Yeah.
I understand that. I respect it, especially these Gen Zs. Y'all out here Gen Zing because y'all are really out here calling people at face value. You're making people accountable. You're telling people what they not supposed to be doing. This was definitely not good. Us millennials, we barely making it day by day. Like, you know what I mean? Because we done lived through some stuff.
And then our knees is starting to creak.
Like,
so, like, things is happening. Life is progressing.
So it's just like, being a millennial with a millennial mind and then coming to God. I almost feel like that's the best generation to be in to actually come back to God because it's like we already done did it all. Like, we done seen it all. We experienced it all. Like, we are just at like a level of, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it can't get worse. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of like where I came to him at. Like, you know what? It's pretty bad. So, I mean, let me just try this out and see what happens because it can't get worse than what it already is, kind of. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, cancel on. Do what you got to do to create your peace. I just hope that the bed that you're creating is worth playing in at the end of the day. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, all we can do is talk. All we can do is say what we feel. And
I mean, right now, just because relationship with God is so important because there's going to be a time where we won't have the word accessible.
Right.
So it's going to be all about what was sitting in your heart. It's going to be about who you really are. Because when you don't have the church to hide behind anymore, when you don't have that wall up to say that, this suit says that I'm a deacon and this is my title, or I'm a pastor and this is my title, When, you
When all
can't
the titles fall.
yeah, when you can't even talk about your titles, you still gonna have to show people the love of God
Mhm.
and be persecuted for it, that's when your relationship is gonna matter
Yeah.
because and that's what it's about, and that's why I'm like, I appreciate religion, and I
Mhm.
honor it, the religious aspect of it, because it teaches that discipline. It teaches that steadfastness.
Mhm.
But what happens when all of this I learned turns into, "And I'll still die for you," you know? Because I can do all of this, and when it come down to it, nah, I need to eat.
Mhm.
Nah, I can't watch my baby beheaded.
Mhm.
Like
Girl, that's the conversation that me
that's
and you
what I know,
had,
that's
like, near in the beginning,
crazy.
because I was like, "Listen,
Like, and
I
we here
don't
for that.
like, I love God, but I don't know if I could do that." And now I'm like, "Listen," like, I be having to click in real quick because I'm just like, you see what's happening in the world. You know where it's going.
Like, whatever you
So it's
want.
almost like I'm mentally preparing myself. I'm like, all right, bro.
Whatever you want is yes.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take the bullet. I'm gonna do it. Like I'm good. But it's just like I have to prepare myself for other things too, because they say that like in the end they're gonna start trying to do some real shicey stuff
You
to
know?
get you to
I
to
mean, if
to.
we here for it, I'm saying,
And I'm a
if we here for
conspiracy
it.
theorist.
But like, what are your relationship with God is, like any other relationship.
Yeah.
Because most relationships is about how that person makes you feel.
Yep.
Every every time it's
Can you see
about
yourself without that
how
person?
that person makes you feel. So if we go into a relationship with God solely based on how he makes us feel,
Mm-hmm.
because we're human and we move off of our emotions and that's what fuels us, our emotions.
Yeah.
Like
Tangibility
what
too.
happens when you can't feel him? What happens when he stops talking?
Yeah.
How is your relationship then? Because if you're with a person that you sleep with every night and they don't say nothing to you,
Baby, because
will
if you
you
wake up in the
still love
morning and
them the
don't say
same?
hello or give me no kiss, I'm looking at you like, what's up?
Right. Would you still love them the same?
Right. I'm already
If
feeling neglected.
if you're in a season of assignment and there's love, but there's assignment, there's order after order after do this, go here, go there,
Mhm.
go there, go there, and you don't understand. How are you gonna feel walking and you can't see where you're going? How does that waver you? How does that affect your relationship with God? Are you gonna trust him enough? Because people say it's easy to trust God. It's not.
It ain't.
Not when you're a control freak. Not when you're used to planning everything out.
Not when you
Not
got
when
trust
not
issues.
when you got trust
Not when you
issues.
got abandonment issues.
Like, right. It's not so easy
Mhm.
because it's unlearning everything that you know about you, everything that you know about other people, and everything that you know about God in order to be a healthy mate for him.
Yeah.
Because I think that people don't realize that they're really toxic to God in their relationship because they're so needy.
Mm.
You know, they offer him nothing,
Mhm.
but they want everything. They give nothing to the kingdom, but want to stock up their house.
Mm.
Like with the things of the kingdom. They want the gifts, they want the accolades, they want the titles. But when it comes time to put those things to use, you have nothing but blood on your hands.
Yeah.
Like that's the sad part. Because how unhealthy are we in our relationship?
Bro, I feel like that like I didn't realize how toxic I was and the things that I was going through until I started trying to build my relationship with God because I was just imposing the things that I had been doing or had been done to me on him,
Yes.
which really made it weird because I wasn't a great communicator.
Mm-mm.
Like I was always down for him to talk to me, but then I was always like, "No, I'm not trying to complain to you every 5 seconds." So if I don't got nothing to say to you, I'm be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then I go on about my day. Like, "Hey, thank you for waking me up, giving me the activity in my limbs and breath in my body and blah, blah, blah." And then I just go on about my day. I didn't even talk to him for a while because I was just like, every time I talk to you, I feel like I'm complaining. And I'm like, I don't want to be needy like that. So I was like the opposite end of the spectrum with that.
Mhm.
But then it was just like, it was like, so if I don't got nothing to talk to you about, then what is this really about? Because I was just like, I don't want to just keep waking up and saying thank you. But then it was like other things started happening.
Mhm.
And, I started getting prophesied to in church and all of these things started like happening
Mhm.
around me. And then I'm just sitting here talking to him and I'm just like, okay, so I need to take this whole prayer thing out of my mind, and I'm just like, okay, if I'm in a relationship with you, what do I do with people that I love?
That's what I'm
Like, you know what I mean?
saying.
Like, oh, I just talked to them. Like me and you, do you know how many times we call each other on the phone and we just sit on
Just
each,
be breathing.
like just be watching TV,
What you
doing whatever.
doing?
Like, I don't know if that's codependency or
I'm
not.
like,
I don't know what it is yet. But it's just like, but even like with my family, it's just like I go through the day with them. Like I come and I be like, oh, you see what happened to me today? Like, like, you know what I mean? Or it's just like basic conversation. Or it's like even just knowing that they're there. Like
Right.
sometimes I just need to go sit next to you. Like sometimes like when I'm with my man, I'm like, you don't gotta say nothing to me. I just want to sit. I just want to be in
In
your
the same,
presence.
we ain't even gotta sit up under each
I just
other.
need to be in your
We
presence. I
just
just need to know
sitting
you're
in the
there.
same room.
And then I was like, well, how do I do that in my life with God? I was like, because first of all, I had to take away the fact that he's so far away. Like, I'm like, bro,
No.
you like literally right there. You up on me.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you right there, you walking with me.
Mhm.
So it was like, once I put that step in, I was like, all right. So like when
And
I'm
then
going through my day, I'm like, if you already see and know what I'm doing and you already know what I'm about to do, I'm not just talk through it. Like, you know what I
like
mean? Like, I'd be like, did you just see like, did you just see what that dude did? I didn't run up on his tag or nothing. I didn't flick him off. Aren't you proud of me? Like, it's just like conversations like that now. Like, I'm walking through work and I'm like, I know I'm about to snap, but I ain't about to do it. Like, just talking,
you're so cute.
you know what I mean? It's just like,
Cause I think that the Lord knew that I was gonna be a little touched. I think that he
a
prepared
little
himself.
touched.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm literally one of the other day, because my mind be going off on tangent. The other day I was like, Jesus, did you have calluses? Because you was wearing them sandals and you was walking everywhere.
No,
Did
for
your
real.
feet
It's
hurt?
like the
Like,
regular.
did your feet hurt? And I'm sitting there like,
And then it's just like when you start reading stories in the
like,
Bible about Jesus, it's just like, Jesus, you really gave bread to your oppo? Like, you gave
like,
him a kiss on the cheek for real. Like,
just
could I
like,
do that? Like, it's really like you really just did this. Like, even reading the Bible cover to cover. Like anybody that's been on my TikTok, y'all see that I do the Faith Walk series. And it's just like I could be vacuuming out my car and the vacuum gives me something to say to y'all, or
yes,
I'll read the Bible and
the
it's just like a
smallest
story
thing.
sticks out. And I'm just like, this really happened. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, yo, I'm really going through. It's so crazy how it like opens itself up, and it's just like there,
I don't know.
and it's just very reflective.
The talking to God is the talking to God was a task.
Yeah.
Cause I wanted him to always be like, where I'd just be like, God, and he'd be like,
Right.
like,
It
but
don't happen
sometimes he
like
just
that.
like look over at you like, what do you want now?
Like, I know
What are
you
you
rolling your
saying now?
eyes. Like, I know you
Like,
rolling your eyes at
God,
me.
I met this guy and he seems really nice,
And he's
but
just sitting there like, I know, no.
like, no. Like, my discernment said no, but if you work on him a little bit for me,
Like, like maybe I just need to give him that little push he
you
needs.
told me if I ask in your name, no. Like,
And he's still like, nah.
so I don't know. The relationship is so crazy because it's just like it sets a standard for all the other relationships in your life
Yeah.
too. Because it's just like you're not just going to put yourself around anything or anyone, because that can jeopardize my relationship with you guys.
Yeah.
And not saying that it's gonna tear apart the relationship, but mentally, in my mind, it's gonna cause a separation. Because now, am I putting this thing over you
Right.
that's not meant for me? Is it gonna become my God instead of you? So
Right.
it's just like when you get that relationship with God, you survey all of your relationships differently. Or, even down to like the food you eat, like everything you do. You do it so differently because you still thinking about making sure that you honor him.
Yeah.
You honor your connection with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it's like, when I was with my husband, when I got dressed and said, oh, people gonna know we together.
Yeah.
And they gonna be like, dang, he pulled that. So it's just the same way. Like, people gonna know we together. And they gonna be like, dang, God changed her like that.
Yeah.
That's what I want my relationship to do. I don't want to hide what I've been through. Because if I hide what I've been through, then
Yeah.
you won't ever be able to see what God did in me.
Right.
You know, like my relationship is gonna say, look what he did in me.
Mhm.
Look what he could do for you.
Right.
You know, that's the biggest part. This earth is tragic. Sorry. Yeah. So
I think I'm still, like, in the middle of that too, because even though I came a long way, it's like now that there are certain things that I'm still around or I still do, I'm starting to get that conviction of it all,
yeah.
and then it's just like, I'm not gonna say I'm afraid to see what happens when I let all of that go, but I'm kinda at that door where it's like, "Alright, you gotta walk through now," and I'm just standing there, and it's just like, "Alright, now when I walk through this door, am I ready for what happens afterward?" And I think that's, like, the trust aspect too, because it's like, I know it's for my good, and I know it's gonna make me better, but it's still like, there's a lot of old stuff that I have to shed, and I know I have to shed, and it's just like, what kind of person am I gonna be after I get rid of this? Because I done been walking with it for so long.
Sis,
And I'm just like,
sis,
I'm ready for it, but it's like, I'm not ready for it. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like, I'm there,
that old
but I'm
man.
like, that's why I was like, I respect our relationship because I know you don't think this way, but in my head, I'm like, you kind of stay like a step ahead of me in a point where I'm just like, all right, if you put her in my life, God, and we're kind of at the same place, some places, but other places she's ahead of me, it gives me like, all right, I kind of know what to expect. Like, you know what I mean? But then there's some stuff that you got going on, but I'm like, I don't want to expect that. I don't want that. Like,
Oh,
like,
parts of it.
like that's for her. Keep that
Yeah.
strictly for her. But when I go through the door, at least I know it's gonna be all right. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it's just like, I don't know. Like the relationship part, it's still something growing. It's still something I learn every day. Like,
Mhm.
yes, if y'all see me out here in these streets, y'all know I'm telling y'all now, I love God. I rock with God. I think that's definitely my guy. But I'm still becoming the person he wants me to be. I need you to tell that. And this is not a sense of me telling people it's okay to stay where you're at and be in that spot and not try to strive to be better. I am saying that as a person who is choosing God daily and
Mhm.
I am still figuring things out, I'm still letting stuff fall off of me. I'm still allowing him to clean me from the inside out. There are still some things that I am doing that I am in the process of giving up. I am still battling with giving up. I'm still praying about giving up. Like there, I am still very much a person. I just know who I am choosing to let get me to that spot. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and I feel like that's important to mention too, because it's just like I don't want anybody to look at me like, oh, she got it all figured out because I don't.
At all. Because I'm still like, listen,
Not in the
that
slightest.
that
Even Nicole, like, don't be looking at us like, oh, we got
that's what I'm
something.
saying. I be telling people like
Like,
I'm just getting here. Like I
like,
just
bro,
filled that hole.
I feel
Like
like she literally woke up like this one day.
like seriously.
Like from
I
where
don't
we were
even
when
know
we
what
first
happened.
clicked
I don't even
and
know
then
what
to
happened.
now, like literally she woke up one day and I think God just like sprinkled something on her and I was like, something is different.
You look
Like
different.
something's different. And then it just started progressing so crazy. And
It just started snatching stuff. I'm like, oh, that's on. This
I'm
tastes
like,
different. That look different.
okay.
I'm like, okay.
And so it's just like things happen. And I think it's very important that you guys take what we give you and you kind of I don't know, what's the word that I want to say? That's my father. Um you you take what we give you and you kind of analyze yourself and figure out where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do with it, honestly. Like
And be serious about it.
yeah, have like a real conversation with yourself
And God.
and God. But if you're not there yet, I mean, just keep listening to us. I mean, I
You'll
feel
get
like
there.
at some point you'll get there because I wasn't trying to die for God 2 years ago, and now look at me. I'm like,
No, that was
I'm
like
taking that bullet.
that was a year ago. You was like, I don't
That
know
was a
if
year
I
ago.
could. Yes, girl.
That probably was.
I
It was
said,
probably
Lord.
exactly a year ago, honestly. But it's just like as you kind of like open your mind up and give yourself the permission to accept God, I feel like, because I feel like you can just do it. But if you actually tell yourself like, no, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it for real, and we're actually gonna be in it, that's where stuff changes.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you can just open up your mouth and say you love God, but do you really want to be in a relationship with God and understand him to know how to move forward? So Nicole,
Yes.
before we wrap up,
You said so much.
what is one piece of advice you would give somebody who is on the fence about God?
Try him. Try him. And not to the sense of, a magic number or a color
Mhm.
or something like that. I mean, like, really try him. Like, just trust him one time.
Mhm.
Just once. You know, like, whatever it is that you're going through, you go to him, and I would say, like, believe him as well. Because and believe who he is, believe his character. Because everything is built to make us question his character.
Mhm.
Because that's how I was in the garden. Essentially, Eve questioned God's character because if you shall not surely die, that means God lied.
Mhm.
So the devil made her question his character, and then there was sin. So believe him, believe his character, and try him just once.
Yeah.
I promise you, he gonna show up so great and mighty for you. Because you know how much it takes to put away everything and say, God, I'm giving you this time now.
Yeah.
Not like, God, I'm giving you this one chance to show me, because that's crazy.
Yeah. And
But
also,
like,
I need for people to listen to her advice. I also need you to try him with an open mind and
oh,
not
very
try him
open.
with the expectation of how you think he should answer you and what kind of
Right.
way, because then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
I think you should just allow him to move how he wants to move. Don't put any expectation. Don't
Mhm.
put any stipulation. It's just, Lord, move the way you need to move him out.
Or just
Yeah,
asking that simple question like, God, show me you're real. And then just let it go.
Because that
Cause
show me
something
you, Lord. That show me you, Lord, has
Yo.
some experiences, okay?
And I hope that I get a whole bunch of emails saying, "Oh my God, I tried this and this is what
Show
happened."
me
Because
you,
we
Lord,
gonna
is
share it on this show
crazy.
because
Show me you, Lord, is crazy.
yo,
Erica, that thing's crazy.
she's still out here writing books, y'all.
I got another one coming out.
She got like 3 more.
Well, 3 more,
She
but
got like 3 more in the chamber. Like she just sitting here clicking up and she
yeah.
just but this is the book. Dear God, You Are Enough by N.M. Gilchrease, my
Yes.
best friend. It is available for purchase on Amazon. I will be putting the link below in the bio, description, wherever you're listening to this, looking at this, wherever. Please pardon our technical difficulties today because this was one, our first show. 2, the devil tried to get in the middle of it, but he sure didn't. So you're going to hear 2 parts of episode 1. And this is the Living, Overcoming, Becoming podcast. Episode 1 down. Where's the applause button? Does it work? Let's see.
It's over here.
Boom. I hear it in the headphones, so I know y'all hear it in there. But check me out again next week on Sunday. Sundays are our official drop days. And for the first 10 people that subscribe to my channel, like me on all social media platforms, and send me a cute little email about what you liked about the email, y'all get something for free. Nicole, are you offering anything?
I am. So I do have 2 books to give away.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put that in the first 2.
2 of these. 2. So, same, what was that? 2 people for the book. First 10 people for what I said. We are going to be the lobbers. I said it. We be out here lobbing. We live in that lob life, living, overcoming, becoming. My comeback kids. We're going to make this a movement. I feel like this is going to be something very big. I feel like this is going to be something very good. I want it to expand in Jesus. But we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.